It's time for Celebrity Profile on Asteroid G. You're listening to Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Wittgenstein. With me, as always, is...
Josh Schaefer.
And Bex.
And today we're going to be doing a celebrity profile. I want to point out, however, that after having listened to the last few celebrity profiles that we did for the show, we all decided that it wasn't working and we need to stop talking about people who are currently famous. So instead, we're going to switch this over to discussing C-listers no one cares about anymore. And by agreement, no one we could think of was more C-lister no one cares about anymore than Breckin Meyer. I'm not wrong, am I? That was pretty much our agreement here.
I mean, I like Breckin Meyer.
Oh, he's a good actor,
about
yeah, but no one cares about him anymore.
I care about him in the sense of like a human caring for another human, I guess.
Which is nice, which is good, because actors are humans.
So yeah, no, caring about someone like as one human to another. I mean, that's fair. He is a person that exists, but when you look at what he's done and where he is in his career, he's like, even though he's got a name we all know he's Breckin Meyer. When he shows up on screen, we're like, oh hey, look, it's Breckin Meyer. Like, he is perpetually that guy who shows up in the background of movies and then disappears again.
Yeah. Well, except for me, like, I thought I knew who he was, and then I see him, it's like, wait, nope, I have no clue.
He was in the sixth Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Dead, as guy who gets killed. He was in Child's Play, but not that Child's Play, as himself. He was in the Wonder Years, that exact Wonder Years you're thinking of from the 1980s, for one whole episode. He was in Clueless, and also in Clueless, but on the TV show Clueless, he didn't play the character he played in the movie Clueless, and only showed up in one episode. Like, perpetually, his career is always close, but not quite. Like, I think the biggest things he's done outside of a few movies where he's part of an ensemble cast was, like, 62 voice episodes for King of the Hill, and, like, a bunch of stuff for Robot Chicken. Oh, and then he was in Franklin and Bash, which I don't know how many of us watched that.
I watched it.
Did you?
Yeah, the first couple seasons. It was actually kind of funny.
Yeah,
he carried it.
Okay. Yeah. He's a charismatic dude. He's like perpetually, oh hey, it's that guy. So, yeah. But yeah,
it looks like he does a lot of voice acting too.
He does, and sadly got to play Jon Arbuckle in Garfield. Poor guy.
Oh.
No.
Do you think he got confused like Bill Murray did with the wrong Coens brothers?
Maybe he thought it was a different Garfield.
Oh, the president.
Yeah, no. Oh, it's a biopic about Garfield, the president, and then he shows up and it's just about talking cat, and he's like, "Did I miss something about that president? Did we actually elect this guy?"
It's a fever dream as he's dying from his assassination.
You know, I gotta say, just saying, that would make for a much more interesting Garfield movie.
Yeah, that's how I always think of it. Yes.
Oh wow, he was in The Craft.
Yeah. As
he was like
guy.
The 90s guy.
He was
the 90s
If
guy.
you want to make a 90s period piece, he will just magically appear on set, whether or not he's been hired to do so. He's like, "It's the 90s, guys! I'm here!" Like if you want to summon Russell Crowe, you put a salt circle on the ground and throw the script for a period piece in the middle, and he appears. For Breckin Meyer, it's kind of the same thing. You just put a salt circle around the studio lot, and then cast a 90s crew, and suddenly he shows up. That's the summoning spell for Breckin Meyer. It's not untrue. Josh and I were discussing this before we decided to do the podcast, and he plays guitar for bands that were basically famous in the 90s, like Tom Morello's side projects and so forth. Like,
It was the drums, not guitar.
I'm sorry,
By the way.
drums. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because no one else is gonna play guitar except Tom Morello in a Tom Morello.
Yeah,
band.
if someone comes up to me and is like, "You want to play guitar with Tom Morello?" I'll just laugh at him and say, "No."
I don't
sir."
need to have my ego crushed like that.
Is he gonna play with his teeth or about like something weird? Like, no, thank you.
He could
Why don't
just
you just
stare.
resurrect Jimi Hendrix and ask me the same thing?
Yeah, he could just stare at the guitar and outplay you with his mind.
Yeah, I know like 4 chords. He knows I'm betting a little bit more than that.
But
At least 5.
so like Freddy's Dead, Clueless, Payback. Is that the Mel Gibson one? No, that's a different
Was
one.
he?
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think he was in that.
No, that
one.
wasn't that one. But okay, so Freddy's Dead, Clueless, The Craft, Escape from L.A. That one he was definitely just Surfer. Can't Hardly Wait. That was one of the ones that I knew him from, and actually I kind of liked his performance in there, even if it was uncredited. Go, Road Trip, Josie and the Pussycats, Rat Race, Kate and Leopold. Sadly, Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Both Garfields, Herbie Fully Loaded. And then, it's kind of dropped off from there. But that was a pretty good run of movies that the guy did, like, way back. And then, as noted,
Yeah.
like, The Wonder Years, Clueless again, Party of Five, Kim Possible voicing, King of the Hill, a ton of voicing, Coupling, which, that crashed and burned. And then, I think he's pretty much just been, like, accepted into the Robot Chicken fold, like every Brat Pack 90s kid was, basically.
Yeah, I think he's an excellent voice actor in my opinion. Like his Boba Fett and his Superman are brilliant.
Yeah,
in
and
my
I
opinion.
noticed that's doing a lot. I also want to point out that Robot Chicken is like an institution now.
Is it still around? I haven't
Yes,
seen it for a while.
season 11 is airing now, probably starring Breckin Meyer. But
It's-
like it started in 2005 and it's still going. And as I learned recently watching YouTube videos, specifically this came from Toy Galaxy, which I'm not going to endorse anything, but they do have some funny videos. There was discussion about the Wizard magazine and then Toy Fair that spun out of it. And I did not realize that the comics that Toy Fair used to do, making like using action figures and posing them and having them do crude jokes and so forth, is basically Robot Chicken, because the writers for that went off and made Robot Chicken.
I didn't know that. I was wondering what happened to those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Wizard ran itself into the ground after it bought a bunch of conventions and all that stuff. But the DNA for that is there, and I would not be surprised if the blood of Breckin Meyer was in the ink that printed Toy Fair magazine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like it's interesting, certainly to say the least. And then
mine is blown.
Come to talk about Breckin Meyer, learn about magazines that are no longer in print production.
But most people don't even know exists anymore.
It doesn't. It went online, and then that company basically ran itself into the ground with poor management, as so many companies do. Everything is basically bought by Hasbro or Disney, or just disappears.
Very true.
Mm-hmm. But back to Breckin Meyer. So of the stuff that I've listed, what do you like from Breckin Meyer?
I liked his kind of straight man in Rat Race.
Yeah? That wasn't a movie I saw. It was one of those like Mad World kind of flicks, right?
It was that in all but name, pretty much.
Well, I mean, if you go back and watch that movie, it's very 1960s. You can't remake it without changing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if you were
I remember liking the movie as a kid, and then like as an adult, I'm just like, why is this movie like 6 hours long?
Right? My mom had it. It was 2 fucking VHS tapes. Like, and the only other movie I know that was like that was Titanic. And you're also sitting there going, why is this movie 3 hours long?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but like that's one of those movies, Mad World. Like, God, I'm trying to think. There was another one I was thinking of. But, okay, so like Ocean's 11 from the 1960s. You can take the basic concept of that, but just by updating it to the modern era, you change everything about it. And, yeah. And so, I like, Rat Race is basically, you're right, a mad world, just, They had to, just by grace of bringing it to the modern day, they had to change it. He's on the cover though. Breckin Meyer actually is on the cover for that movie, so he wasn't like a minor character insofar as that movie is concerned.
I think he was lead, wasn't he?
Of the movies that he was in where he actually had a lead role, so we're going to discount things like Josie and the Pussycats, which I didn't even remember that he was in there. I kind of like Go. I think Go's a good film.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Like it's like no one really has it's again with everything about his career except for Franklin and Bash and sadly Garfield. Ensemble pieces, Can't Hardly Wait, Go, Clueless, those kinds of things. But like his part in it's funny, and that movie in general is actually really good, done by Doug Liman. Very good script. Probably very 90s now. I don't know if I could go back and watch it again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Apparently he was also in 54, which no one remembers that movie, but that was a big movie when it came out.
I don't remember that at all.
That was that one about Club 54, and it was like Mike Myers in a dramatic role and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Everyone remembers it existed. Everyone probably remembers they watched it. No one remembers what the movie was about, and no one remembers Breckin Meyer in it.
You are right on all accounts, because I forgot that movie existed.
No, I feel bad for him.
I know, right? Like, the thing is, we're crapping on the guy, but I don't mean to crap on him. It's the way his career worked out. Like, he's got a slightly different look than your standard Hollywood leading man, and the parts that he took were different from your standard Hollywood leading man. So I don't think he was ever going to be destined to repeat the term, be a Hollywood leading man. But for the roles he did, he was pretty good in them.
And you know what? If anything, too, as far as I can tell, there's no reason to be pissed at him.
No. He's been a good dude. People like him. He does a lot of work with various bands and everyone else, and everyone seems to have a very nice opinion of it. But he is one of those ones where you go to the Wikipedia page for him to see what his personal life is about. And, normally there's listings of their politics and everything else, and he has 2 sentences that says he married someone, and he also helps with G4 TV, and literally that's it.
Yeah, he gets 5 bonus points right there.
For being just a dude.
Yes. For being a decent human being.
Right.
I'm curious if his career is, self-inflicted, like maybe he's just like, you know what, I'm more into music, like Macaulay Culkin is.
Well, and there's also the thing of, child star came up, back in the day. Then, like, some of them, they burn out, and other ones are just like, I'm not going to pursue this as heavily as some of my friends are because I've made the money I want. And you can see that, like, if you aren't getting paid scale, and I think scale is, like, now it's 60 grand. It was probably closer to 30 back in the 90s. But still, if you aren't getting paid scale, you're getting decent cash. And if you're smart and you invest it and you take on some side projects, you can live on that for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, he got in a really strong opening career. Probably only his first couple roles, like Camp Cucamonga and Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, were scale. But from Clueless onward, he had just enough of a name to actually get named characters, and that would mean getting paid named character money. So, probably 250, 500 grand a pop at the very minimum. Sit on that, invest it. You could be good to go. And then, make that sweet, sweet Robot Chicken voiceover money. I don't know that that's actually pays really well. I don't. And then, of course, at some point you sell your soul and you'll play 2 Garfield movies and you get paid a few $1 million for that. And you're like, okay, I can raise my kids now. Deuces, everyone.
I feel like they had to have paid those people, like, fuck you money or something.
It's hazard pay. You have to be in a Garfield movie. Yeah. We're going to pay you commensurate amount for that.
Yeah, because, like, if they were like, here's $300 million to voice Garfield, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. Like, and I don't criticize him for taking Garfield movies when your career is, like, you're not a leading man. You're not Tom Holland. You're not whoever else. You take the roles you can get to keep your family fed, and a couple roles as Jon Arbuckle, that's going to pay the bills.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. We got anything else to say about Mr. Breckin Meyer?
He's my favorite Boba Fett.
Aww.
Of the 3? Are there 3? Are there 4?
Yep.
You know what? We can find
4.
out.
There's 4. Well, I don't know. Do you count Jango Fett?
I'm looking at Don Franks from the holiday special, if we're going to count him. Jason Wingreen played the role in episode 5 before 2004, and Tamura Morrison played him in pretty much everything after, except for the young version of him in Clone Wars and other stuff, which was voiced by Daniel Logan. And then there's a bunch of others, which are mostly, I'm going to say, like, oh yeah, D. Bradley Baker, who voices every single clone. Ed Begley Jr. for the radio dramas of Return of the Jedi. That seems, no.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sad. He doesn't even get listed, Breckin Meyer doesn't even get listed on Wikipedia for the listing of people who have voiced or played Boba Fett. Come on, guys. Yeah, come on, guys. Just because it's Robot Chicken doesn't make it any worse, you know?
Yeah, he's a Boba Fett actor at this point.
He is. Boba Fett first, everyone else second.
Right.
Yeah. Bash a distant third. Or was he Franklin?
I don't remember.
I'm not going to go look. Anyway. This has been your 1990s mid-level character flashback. I'm Mike Finkelstein.
Josh Safer.
And Bex.
And we will see you next time.